Malcolm Young of the band ACDC in 2000. RTKleimanMediaPunch, via Associated Press. Malcolm Young, the guitarist and writer who helped found the Australian rock band ACDC, died on Saturday. He was 64. His family confirmed the death in a statement, adding that Mr. Young had had dementia for several years. It did not say where he died. Mr. Young and his brother Angus created ACDC and played their debut show at a Sydney, Australia, club on New Year's Eve in 1973. The group, known for its powerchord riffs, ear-splitting vocals and raucous energy, found enduring popularity and great commercial success despite waiting until 2012 to release its catalog to iTunes. "You need to entertain during a live performance," Malcolm Young said in an interview posted on YouTube, "so that the audience always knows that something's going to happen on that stage tonight." The band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2003. ACDC's approach had a worn and scruffy vibe that stood in stark contrast to the pretentiousness of using much rock at the time, the Hall of Fame website said. ACDC has sold more than 72 million albums in the United States, according to the Recording Industry Association of America. In 2016, the band was still packing arenas of fans wearing devil horns for the Rock or Bust World Tour, and belting out hits like Hell's Bells and Highway to Hell. Angus Young was the only original member of ACDC still performing that year. From left, members of ACDC Malcolm Young, Bon Scott, Cliff Williams, Angus Young and Phil Rudd. Finn Costello. Malcolm Young's last performance with the band was in 2010 in Bilbao, Spain. At the time, he was having cognitive problems but decided to keep performing during the tour, oftentimes having to relearn guitar parts that he had written, Rolling Stone reported. Mr. Young's nephew, Stevie Young, replaced his uncle in 2014. ACDC Bilbao, Spain. For those about to rock 2cam mix HD video by ACDC Italia. www.adsitalia.com. While Mr. Young struggled with alcoholism in the 1980s, his nephew stepped in to substitute for him. "I wasn't brain dead, but I was just physically and mentally screwed by the alcohol," Mr. Young said in an interview. The band spoke with the New York Times in 2008, on the cusp of the release of Black Ice, which would eventually receive a Grammy nomination for Best Rock Album. "People say it's juvenile, but pardon me, I thought rock and roll was supposed to be juvenile," Angus Young said. "You sing what you know. What am I going to write about?" Rembrandt. The band won its first Grammy in 2010, for Best Hard Rock Performance, with The War Machine. The group's influential album Back in Black was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2013. On Saturday, fans and fans shared their memories of Malcolm Young on social media. "I had some of the best times of my life with him on our 1984 European tour," the guitarist Eddie Van Halen wrote on Twitter. Ben Jolliffe of the English rock band Young Guns wrote, "Absolutely broken to hear of Malcolm Young passing. Grew up with the family and he was like a second dad to me." Mr. Young was born on January 6, 1953, in Glasgow, Scotland. His parents later emigrated to Sydney. His survivors include his wife, and 2 children, Cara and Ross, his brother Angus, a sister and 3 grandchildren, according to a statement on the band's website. Mr. Young's brother George, one of the band's producers and writers, died last month. The band posted a tribute to Mr. Young on its website and social media, calling him the driving force behind its success. "As a guitarist, writer and visionary, he was a perfectionist and a unique man," the statement said. "He always stuck to his guns, and did and said exactly what he wanted." A version of this article appears in print on November 19, 2017, on page A32 of the New York edition with the headline "Malcolm Young, 64, a founder of ACDC."